What's shaking, nerds? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking all about barters. There's so many different trades you can do in this game, and you don't know which ones are good, which ones are bad. Well, today I'm going to be showing you 41 barters that are worth your time. So stick around because we got a lot of trades coming. Before I even start this video, I can already hear you guys saying, "You forgot barter so-and-so, Geeks, you're an idiot." Well, if I forgot a barter that you really like, put it in the comments below. I'm not going to get to every single one, but I'm just going to showcase 41 that I think are worth your time and effort so that, you know, maybe you will go look for, say, 30% of this barter and then just buy the rest. I am going to have this video timestamped, and it is going to be broken down into sections like accessories, cases, ammo, guns, and so forth. So if you are trying to remember, oh, what's that trade for that gun again? What do I need? I'm going to have it all timestamped so it's easy for you guys to navigate when you watch it more than once. The first section we're going to talk about is ammo and mags, and the first trade I want to talk about is 2 damage hard drives for a 60 rounder for the 5.45 guns. Now you do need to complete the task ice cream cones from Prapper, but once you're done that, you can do 2 damage hard drives for something that usually costs us 37,000, because if you just want to buy the 60 rounder by itself from Prapper, you're looking at 37,000 rubles. 2 damage hard drives, you find those everywhere, or if you want, you can go to the flea market and get them for about 10 to 12,000 a piece. I'm not sure why they did this, but you can't just buy BS ammo for 5.45 anymore, and it's kind of frustrating, to be honest, since you can buy like M61, 995, but BS ammo for the 5.45, no way, you need to barter for that. And the barter now is 2 hot rods. Roughly, these are going for about 10,000 a piece on the flea market, but as of Friday, you can now craft them in your hideout as long as you have nutrition level 3 available. What you're going to need is 1 super water, 1 sugar, 1 coffee, and 1 tea, and you can craft 20 hot rods at a time. Awesome. Good. Give me that BS ammo, because I'm not running AK-74Ns really because I can't really get that great of ammo, but now bring it on. Circuit boards aren't useless after you do the task for them. They actually do trade for 60 round magazines for the M4. You do need 2. They go for about 12 to 16,000 on the flea market. And the thing about this is you can't even buy these magazines from the trader. You have to either buy them off the flea market where people have found them in raid, or you do have to barter for them. If you're buying the circuit boards off the flea market and you do have Peacekeeper level 3, maybe think about doing the next one instead of that one. It's 1 air filter for the gas mask, for 1 mag pull PMag, 60 round magazine for, again, your M4s and your 8Rs. This is only 1 item instead of the 2 you need, and these are going for 14 to 16,000. So almost the same price as a circuit board, but you only need 1, and you can still get 4 at a time between the trader resets. So this might be a better deal if you are just looking to get some magazines and you still have to buy it from the items from the flea market anyways. If you're rocking an M1A and you are looking for that 50 rounder and you can't find it anywhere because it's only found in raid or you have to barter for it, the barter is 1 GM counter for this item. GM counters are going for about 10 to 12,000, and you know, these on the flea market are going for way more than that if they are found in raid. So if you want them, I'd always go for the trade first before you even buy them off the flea market. Also, another one is for the X-FAL. So if you are rocking a FAL and you want a 50 rounder, same idea. You can't buy them from any traders. You have to either buy them off the flea market or you have to barter for them, and the barter is 1 G phone for this. G phones are going for about 11,000, so it's no skin off your back really, because it's pretty easy and pretty cheap. Energy saving lamps are pretty common to find out in the wild, and if you have a couple of these and you have Prapper level 2 available, you can get a hand grenade for them. And I really like this trade only because it's so early in the game, and to be honest, grenades are so useful early on to flush people out of spots or just clear areas that I really like this trade. I think it's worth your time for sure. Another one is 1 fuse for a VOG 17. This is an even better grenade. And you know what, fuses aren't as common definitely as the lamps, but you still do find them a lot of times in grenade boxes, so I would definitely hold on to these only because the VOG 17 has such a short fuse on them and you can really take the enemy by surprise. The next section is focused on gear for your PMC, and the first trade we're going to talk about is Ox Bleach for a 6B47 helmet. And to be honest, right now in this time of the wipe, If you do need to buy a helmet and you're just looking for something cheap and you're thinking about going for the SSH 68, which is about 21,000 rubles, this is probably cheaper than just buying that helmet, to be honest. Bleaches are going for about 10,000, so you're going to come out with a better helmet and you're going to save a little bit of cash. You might be asking now why I'm adding the Untar helmet and the Untar armor vest into this whole thing when, you know, they're not really that good, but you do need them for a few tasks. So if you want max durability equipment and not pay an arm and a leg on the flea market, think about trading for this. So the Untar helmet does trade for 2 anti-fragmentation glasses, and also the Untar armor vest trades for 3 max energies. I was telling you about how there is 2 energy saving lamp barters that I'm going to talk about, and this is the second one. 4 lamps for 1 tri-zip backpack. What's great about this trade is you can do it from level 2, and this is the biggest backpack you could pretty much get once you only got Regman level 2, and you can't even buy tri-zips until Regman 3. So if you don't want to use them for grenades and you want to use them for, say, getting a bigger backpack so you can get more loot, this barter is definitely worth it in my head. The Gazelle's a great armor. It is level 5. It does repair kind of shittily, but it's still really good. So this barter, it is 2 gold chains and 3 coffees. Most of the time it might be a little more if you just buy all the things off the flea market. But if you find 1 or 2, say, gold chains, or same thing with the coffee, you can just finish this trade by buying the rest of it from the flea market, and it becomes a really solid deal to you. We also have some solid armored rigs coming up. These are the next 2 items. They're both level 4 armor, but I think they're very much worth it. So the first one is 4 aquamarine for 1 M1 armored rig, and again, this is a pretty simple trade. You don't want to buy the aquamarine most of the time. What you want to do is you just want to craft it in your hideout. You can do this with super water and a hose, and you'll get 8 of them, so you can get 2 M1 armored rigs out of this. I think this is a fantastic deal. I know it's level 4, just like this TV 110. It's for 4 ox bleach and 2 shampoo. You can craft the shampoo again in your hideout, so it becomes cheaper. The ox bleach isn't that much at all on the flea market. So these are both rock solid armored rigs for you, especially if you're going into, say, reserve and you have the RR. These are both level 4. I get that a lot of people do complain about level 4 armor. Out of all the level 4 armor though, I think these are the 2 best ones you can get. I highly recommend these. I use them all the time. I get some really solid kills with them, and they repair actually fairly well because they just did a bump on the repairability on these. So 2 rock solid rigs, and it won't cost you an arm and a leg. That's a bargain in my books. If you're always going into raid but having to leave a lot of loot behind, you might need a bigger backpack, and let's talk about the couch itself, the biggest backpack in the game. The first trade for it is 8 level 25 dog tags or above. I was looking at the stats on this. If you get dog tags from level 28 to level 25, they're all under 10,000, so that's where you're wanting to look. It is a little more difficult because once you get into the higher levels, the dog tags are worth a lot more. So if you can just keep like either level 28, 27, 26, 25 in a separate container, I know that's difficult, it's highly worth it to do this trade then. And same thing with the next one, which is 2 military cables. This is even better barter, to be honest, because the military cables I'm sure are cheaper than the 8 dog tags you're about to spend. And it depends on where we are in the wipe, but most of the time the military cables for this is a steal of a deal. You do got to be careful because this backpack will make you stick out like a sore thumb. So just keep that in mind, that if you are using this backpack, your character is like 3 times the size because you're carrying a couch on your back pretty much. One of the all-time best gear trades is probably the broken G-Phone X for the airframe chops. If you are looking for these chops to buy them, they are super expensive, so why not just trade a broken G-Phone in them, and you get them for pretty much next to nothing. This next trade, I kind of went back and forth on it, and I should have probably taken it out, but it's still here. It's 1 gold skull ring and 3 golden neck chains, and you get the A18 plate carrier. It's level 4, just like the M1 rig I was showing you, and just like the TV 110. You know what? There's nothing to sell you on this. Like, if you have the gold chains, I'd tell you to get the Gazelle instead. So, unless you really like this rig, I don't know why I put it in here, and I'll just apologize now and say I'm sorry. But the next one is my favorite armor probably in the whole game. It's my go-to. It repairs so well. It's the Tech. You might have used this before, but this is like one of my go-to trades, especially if I do find a vase. I complete it with just buying 10 chainlets, and I think it's really worth it. This rig will repair like you wouldn't believe, and it's fairly cheap to repair also. So if you have these items at hand, or if you just have a bunch of vases, think about grabbing a bunch of chainlets and just finishing this trade, because you will be super happy that you got this armor. If you are wanting to go full butter boy, you can think about picking up the Zook heavy armor. This is for 3 vases, 2 antique teapots. This is some of the best armor in the game. It not only covers your thorax, but it does cover your stomach too, unlike say the slick armor. It is ceramic, so it does repair not the best, but if you want to go crazy butter boy, this might be the armor for you right here. Or else you can think about trading 6 air filters and 3 paracords, and you can get the Fort T5 body armor. Now you do have to remember that this body armor weighs like, I don't know, like 1,000 pounds, so you don't move all mimbly bimbly like at all, but it is an option in case you do want to go full butter boy, say in labs or in factory or something. You can keep these barters in mind. For me, I would tell you, hey, just stick with the Tech. It's cheaper, but if you do have these items lying around, or you found a good majority of them, why not try these armors out and see if you like them. The final piece of gear that I'm going to tell you that you should be trading for is 7 ox bleach for the blackjack. Another huge backpack. Again, it's going to make you stick out a little more of a sore thumb than say like a tri-zip or something, but not as much as say the couch we showed earlier. And here's the thing, you can make the ox bleach in the hideout, so this actually might be a really great trade for you if you are thinking about, you know, going a little slower in the next raid, really just being really passive and just trying to fill up a backpack. This might be the backpack for you. Then, you know, you can get an extra 10 to 15 slots than you usually have with whatever backpack, you know, is your go-to, and just make that extra money, you know. Or you know what, you can just chat it up and go nuts and then carry that much more gear. It's all up to you, but I'm just letting you know that this barter, it's very good. So this leads us into the section of meds, mods, and extras, and the first 2 trades that I'm going to show you, you might be past, you might not even use any of these anymore, but I think these are a staple in Tarkov, and everyone should know these like the back of their hand, and that is 2 matches for 1 painkiller, and also 2 duct tape for 1 car med kit. You might, like I said, not use these, but you know, at the beginning of a wipe, or you know, when you just jump into the game, this is something that is going to be so valuable to you, and again, you're going to be using this over and over at the beginning. The next one is 3 nippers for 1 CMS kit. This is another really amazing barter. It is from Yager. Here's the issue though, you don't get him until later on, but the CMS kit is so valuable to you, and I prefer the CMS over the Serve 12 only because if I find a GPU or a Tetris or something, I don't mind just throwing this into my backpack, and even if I die and I lose it, it's not really no skin off my back, because again, the nippers are so cheap right now. They might be a little more expensive early wipe, but right now these go for like, I think like 4,000 rubles. It's dirt cheap. One of the most versatile silencers in all of Tarkov is the Hybrid 46. It is, you know, on the pricier side of things, but you know what, why not just trade for it? You'll just need 4 RAM and 1 T-shaped plug. If you're searching those computers a lot, you're going to find those RAM, and same thing with T-shaped plug. You're going to find it in so many filing cabinets that this trade is actually really good for you. Another silencer that you're going to probably be using a lot of is the Mosin rifle, only because you do have to use the Mosin in so many tasks. So why not trade for it? Because you can't even buy it from any trader. This is the only way to get it, or find in raid. So to get this, you're going to need 3 lunch boxes. I was hemming and hawing over this next barter, but you know what, you make both items in the hideout, so I thought why not throw it in there. And that is 8 packs of sugar and 4 or 5 aquamarine, and you get a FLIR thermal scope. So if you don't know this is one of, you know, those intense thermal scopes. It does zoom in and out. It's great for, you know, long range shots. It is also though 500,000 rubles from trader. So if you are really wanting to use this, I would say, you know what, barter for it first. Another silencer made it onto the list, and that is the Rotor 43 762 muzzle brake. You can get this for 2 magnets. I don't know about you, but I'm really loving the 762 guns lately. I really do enjoy the AKMs. So This is something that I'm trading for a lot of times if I'm not using, say, some like the land tech or something. But if I'm not using the land tech, this is my go-to, and it's cheap and it's really easy for you to get. Another item that you're going to find really useful is getting sugar in the game, and you're going to be able to do that with 5 piles of meds. And to get meds, you can either find them, of course, in raid, but an easier way is just, you know, crafting them in your hideout. And there's a reason why this trade is always sold out from therapists. It's because everyone wants sugar to make other things, and it's just a good barter. The last item on this list is the Red Rebel Ice Pick. It's for 15 dry fuel, 15 propane tanks, and 10 fuel conditioner. There is a reason why this is the end-all be-all melee weapon. It's because you can get out of reserve easier and you can get out of woods easier with it. So, you know, this is in high demand. At the moment of this recording, all these items are reasonably priced. It won't cost you too much to get a Red Rebel Ice Pick, just something like 1.3 million. And I know that is a lot to some of you, but it really isn't for such a great, useful item. But early wipe, all these items are really expensive. So when you're just starting out, maybe think about hoarding these items instead of trading them on the flea market. So we're at the final section of this video, and that is all about weapons. And we might agree or disagree on some of these, but for me, this is how I feel. And I hope you just, you know, maybe take away 1 or 2 barters from this. So the first one is the AKM for 3 Tushonkas. Like I was saying, I really do like the AKM gun recently, and right now on the flea market it goes for about 40,000 found in raid, where Tushonka is dirt cheap on the flea market right now, so why not trade for it? Even if you're low level, this is a banger of a trade. So even if wipe comes, you know, Tushonka is one of those things where you do have an early mid task where you have to find 15 of them find in raid. But if you have any Tushonka that isn't found in raid, or, you know, it's cheap on the flea market, think about doing this barter. The next one is 1 rechargeable battery for the 8R. It's another go-to right away, right when you start the game or just early wipe. This is a godsend. The 8R is a fantastic gun. It is single fire, but it does some work, man. I'll tell you that. This next one you might agree with or disagree, but let me tell you why I put this on the list. So it's 1 wristwatch for the PP19 Zenit. So it's kind of like a pimped out submachine gun PP19, and it's for 1 Rolex, or should I say roller, sorry. These rollers do sell on the flea market for quite a bit of money, but sometimes you put stuff in your gamma and your alpha, say like this roller, and you know, you die and it's not found in raid anymore. It only trades to a therapist for about 40,000. So if you have any not found in raid rollers, this is a great way to use them. Yes, you do need them for your hideout, but if you've already used what you need to for the hideout and you just have these lying around, it's a good way to get rid of them, and it's a great gun just for some, you know, medium runs, you know, nothing crazy, maybe a little more passive aggressive. But yeah, I think this barter is a banger. This MPX trade I'm about to show you is probably what I think is the most overlooked trade in all of Escape from Tarkov, only because it is mechanic level 1, so it's available to you right when you start the game at level 1. It does take 5 DVD drives, 5 ultraviolet lamps, and 2 weapon parts. The DVD drives are a dime a dozen because they're in every computer you pretty much look in. The ultraviolet lamps are a little more uncommon, but not super rare by any means, so you can find these in a lot of interchange stores. The weapon parts, yeah, they're definitely the more rarer of the 3 items here, but again, not impossible to find. And you get this tricked out MPX, so it's something to think about. And if you have to, say, fulfill this barter by just buying a few things on this list, it's definitely worth it. The AK-74N right now is still going for 40,000 even at this time of the wipe. And you know what? That's quite a bit of money, so why not just grab 5 Apollo cigarettes from the flea market, or just while you're doing raids, and, you know, bartering for this, because 5 Apollos even on the flea market at the time of this video is about 5,000 a piece. But you know what? You're gonna find a ton of these while you're out in the world, and to be honest, they do nothing. You don't need them for a task. You don't need them for really anything else. So, you know, throw them in your backpack. If you need to get rid of them because you find a really high value item, then you could chuck them, but why not just grab them for now and then later on ditch them? I like this next barter so much, I even made a whole video about it a while ago, but it's the SKS trade for 1 GP coin and 1 screwdriver. It used to be only 1 GP coin for this gun, but they added the screwdriver in there. It's not like it makes a difference because the screwdriver is so cheap, but this is a great trade. You know, it is mechanic level 2, so it is somewhat early game. And the thing is, this SKS is actually fairly great already just as is. If you want to make it super special, you're going to throw some sort of silencer on it. Definitely throw an optic if I were you, but it's already ready to go. Just got to grab an optic and throw it on there. So you know what, GP coins, you can do a couple of barters with them, but this is probably in my top 3 for sure. I also made a video about this next barter. It's 1 GP coin and 1 Bitcoin for this M4. Now, this Colt M4 isn't the end all be all M4s at all, but you know what? It's a banger of a gun. If you change 2 or 3 things, it does become a meta M4, but even just straight out of the box, it's good to go. It's got a 60 round clip already in it. It's already got an optic, but if you really, you know, if you have a little bit of money to spend and you're just going full butter boy, then I would change 2 or 3 things for sure. You might have been on a lot of Tarkov maps and seen the USB adapters and been like, what are these even for? Well, 8 of them actually trade for an M1A, and you know what? You just throw an optic on this M1A and it rips people apart. So it's just like the Apollo cigarettes. If you find these in raid, you might as well pick them up, throw them in your backpack, and then once you do find something to replace them that is higher value or better for you, that's when you drop them. But I always say, get to the extract with your bag as filled as possible, even if it is a little bit of trash, because even trash is worth something in Tarkov. So if you see them lying around, they are worth actually picking up. We do have another M4 barter on this list, and it is 4 GP coins for the Lavoa M4. It's a little bit cheaper than the Colt that I showed you earlier, and you know, it doesn't come with all the bells and whistles. It's not usable straight out of the box, but it is still a great barter. So you know, it's just, you have a little bit of choices. I would say the Colt's M4 is better than this one, but I still like to use this one. It is still, I think, a great M4, but it's just not as good compared to the Colt. But if you do have 4 GP coins and no Bitcoins, why not, right? We do have another M1A on the list, and this one's a little more razzle dazzled out. It's 17 Wilson cigarettes for 1 Springfield Armory M1A. Now, you do need the Wilson cigarettes for an early mid-game task, so collect the cigarettes first for this task, and then after that, they're still worth keeping around and picking up. Also, you can craft these in the hideout, so it would be worth it. I think it's something to do with a T and I think an Apollo cigarette. So it's 1 T, 1 Apollo cigarette, and you can craft 5 of these. It's not a barter that I do a lot of, but it is worth it if I find, you know, say 5 or 6 Wilstons, and then I'll just finish it off by buying the rest off of the flea market. This AK-104 trade has a couple of things going for it, even though it is for 4 Bitcoins, which is quite a bit. It has a FLIR on it, and like I said earlier, the FLIR alone is 500,000 rubles. It has the 50 round mag in it. It's got your canted sight already built in. It's just an all-around great gun. So if you want to use the FLIR for, say, another gun, this is still ready to go also. So you can actually get 2 uses out of this. Like, you know, I probably wouldn't put a FLIR on this gun. I'd put it on some sort of like longer range, like M1A, or, you know, some sort of sniper rifle. But you know what, even if you do that, you can still have a pretty great AK-104 to use on the next run. This AK-74M I'm going to talk about, the Zenico here for 6 Marlboro cigarettes and 1 military cable, isn't the end all be all of all barters, but it is fairly good. You know, an AK-74M goes for roughly about, you know, 25,000, maybe 30,000 on the flea market. So for a little more than that, you're going to get one that already has quite a bit of parts on it that you can build off of now, but you do need, say, like the optic, you need a grip on it, and you definitely need a magazine. I see this gun as just like a really good starter blueprint. You know, it's got a lot of attachments already on it that are very good, and you can just build from here. This is definitely a better barter, this AK-74 and mag pull, only because it does come with everything straight out of the box. You can use it. It is 3 GP coins, which isn't too bad at all, but it is from Peacekeeper level 4, so that might be a little bit of a deterrent for you doing it. But if you do have Peacekeeper level 4, great gun, you know, just a great starter, again, blueprint gun. So it has everything out of the box if you want to use it, or if you want to build from this, you only have to put 2 or 3 things on it, and again, it becomes just like a shredder. This foul barter that I'm going to show you right now is becoming one of my favorite weapon builds, only because it already comes with a hybrid 46 on it. And if you remember from earlier, there is a hybrid 46 barter, but it's already on this gun. So 4 Nixer lenses, which is roughly right now as we speak 80 to 100,000 rubles, or what I do is I usually find 2 of these lenses and then I just finish off the other 2 by buying them off the flea market. and you get a FAL with already a silencer on that, and if you don't want to use a silencer, you can use something else. But again, the silencer alone is worth, like, I think from Peacekeeper it's 900 American dollars. This has been my go-to barter, I have to tell you. It's never disappointing me. And the last barter I'm going to show you guys is the Ash 12. You do need to complete the regulated materials task first, and if you do that, you can trade it for 3 bottles of vodka. This is really great because vodka's not at all that expensive, and the Ash 12 is unreal. If you've ever used it on single fire, it destroys people's faces. So love this trade too. Now, I really do hope you guys enjoyed the video, but I know I probably did miss 1 or 2 that you really like. So if I did, please put in the comments below. Also, please give this video a thumbs up. Maybe think about subscribing. It is free for you guys, but it does mean the world to me. And I do stream 5 days a week on twitch.tv. So if you want to come by, tell me the barter, I'll go check it out and be like, oh my God, that is good. You know, we'll talk about that barter. Or if you have any questions about these ones, come on by, say hello. And until next time, I'll talk to everyone later.